that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. Everything in the material world has a certain flavor or way or fragrance. As the flavor and fragrance in a flower or in the earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc. The uncontaminated flavor, the original flavor, which permeates everything, is Krishna. Similarly, everything has a particular original taste, and this taste can be challenged by the mixture of chemicals. So everything original has some smell, some fragrance, and some taste. Vibhavasu means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories. We cannot cook, etc. And that fire is Krishna. The heat in the fire is Krishna. According to Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to fire, to low temperature in the belly. So even for digestion, fire is needed. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware of the earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals and all material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. Wow. Okay. And this verse says, I am the origin of fragrance of the earth. I'm sorry, I am the original fragrance of the earth. I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. And in the purport, the very interesting statement, it says, the duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. Well, that is a very interesting statement. One can prolong his life or diminish it. So now it must therefore depend on the habits of a person. If they don't have, let's say, good food, they don't have good hygiene, and they engage in illicit activities, etc., that may be an argument for diminishing their life due to their bad habits. Like I remember my father, he was a chain smoker. Every day he would smoke 4 packs of Chesterfield cigarettes. And he'd smoke one cigarette after another. He would also drink 12 cups of coffee. Now, how long can your body take that type of punishment? And that's punishment. So obviously, he developed cancer. And he suffered terribly for 9 months. And then he finally died. So we have to be very careful. The body is functioning, but it cannot be a dump for garbage. So Smoking and eating all kinds of junk foods, not sleeping, not bathing regularly, all these things will diminish one's life. However, being very regulated in eating, sleeping, and so forth, one can have a peaceful and long, or expect to have a peaceful and long life. Not eating meat, fish, eggs, all that junk. And in this purport today, it says the duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. Okay. So how can Krishna prolong life or diminish life? It depends on what we do. If we do things that are beneficial, not only for ourselves, but for others, based on spreading knowledge of Krishna, then Krishna has a reason to prolong our life. If we simply engage in all kinds of nonsense activities, meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication, there's no reason for Krishna to give us a long life. However, there are some people who smoke and drink, but still they have a long life. But the quality of that life is not very good. What is that? Okay, so now we'll go to verse number 10. Ijamam sarvabhutanam vidi partha sanasanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejasvivam aham. O son of Prita, know that I am the original seed of all existences, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Bijam means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. There are various living entities, movable and inert. Birds, beasts, men, and many other living creatures are moving, living entities. Trees and plants, however, are inert. They cannot move, but only stand. Every entity is contained within the scope of 8,400,000 species of life. Some of them are moving and some of them are inert. In all cases, however, the seed of their life is Krishna. As stated in Vedic literature, Brahman, or the Supreme Absolute Truth, is that form from which everything is emanating. That means Krishna. Krishna is Paramatma, the Supreme Spirit. Brahman is impersonal, and Parabrahman is personal. Impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect. That is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, in other words, everything is coming from Krishna, everything that is personal and everything that is impersonal. He is the root, and the root of a tree maintains the whole tree. Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this material manifestation. This is also confirmed in the Vedic literature, Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam eko bahunam yo vividati kaman. He is the prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities. And he alone is maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence. And Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Well, this is very important for us as devotees, especially if we want to be preachers. We have to understand and have complete faith that everything in this world is emanating from Krishna himself, whether it's the impersonal Brahman or the personal aspect. And therefore, Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root, and the root of a tree maintains the whole tree. Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this material manifestation. And this is also confirmed in the Vedic literature, Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam eko balanam yo vidati kaman. He is the prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities, and he alone is maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence. And Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality Godhead, Krishna. This should be taught to all children and to everybody, that Krishna is the root of everything. And everything is an expansion of Krishna. That's why it says, Krishna is speaking here in this verse. It says, O son of Prita, Arjuna, know that I am the original seed of all existence, or of all existences, the intelligence of the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. That means Krishna is the origin of everything. There's nothing equal to him. There's nothing greater than him. Therefore, we should all surrender to Krishna. And eventually, through devotional service, develop love and devotion to Lord Krishna. And he says clearly, and Prabhupada writes clearly, that Krishna is the seed of everything. So the seed is usually something very small. But if it's watered and carefully taken care of, it can become a gigantic tree. In the same way, if we are, if the seed of love of God is planted in our heart, and that is by associating with genuine devotees, hearing their lectures, and engaging in practical devotional service, then the seed of Krishna consciousness is planted in their heart. When that seed is planted in the heart of the devotee, then it has to be watered. And how is it watered? By regularly hearing every day about Krishna from genuine devotees. Now we have the whole, let's say, process of Krishna consciousness. First, we have to associate with devotees who have the potencies to plant the seed of Krishna consciousness in our heart. How does it get into our heart? There's no operation there. It gets into our heart through our ears, by hearing lectures given by genuine devotees. And once that seed is planted, then we have to water it so that it can grow. And if you water it nicely and protect it, it can grow and grow and grow and reach even the lotus feet of Krishna. That means that we have fully, let's say, engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. So, whenever we use the word Brahman is used, it's referring to the supreme absolute truth, Krishna. And he is the source from which everything is emanating. He is the Para Brahman, the supreme spirit. And he's also the impersonal Brahman. And he's also in the personal aspect. Therefore, Krishna is the source of everything. He's the root also of everything. Therefore, it says, Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam, Eko Bhavanam, Yo Vidadasti Kaman. He is the prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities. And he alone is maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence, and Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. Well, children should be educated to know Krishna right from the earliest time in their life. They should hear about Krishna's pastimes. They should be educated in Krishna consciousness. They should engage in devotional service to Krishna. And as they become teenagers, they should continue and intensify their practices of Krishna consciousness. And when they get to be adults, they should become fully, let's say, dedicated to Krishna and devotional service. There shouldn't be a hiatus. They shouldn't have a period of in their life where their fervor to serve Krishna is lessened. It's diminished. All through the life of a devotee, one should be enthusiastic to hear about Krishna, serve Krishna, and always be engaged in Krishna's service. You can also do everything else, have a family, have children, but the fervor, the enthusiasm to a devotee, to be a devotee, should not be diminished throughout life. And in order to do that, one needs to have the association of good devotees. Therefore, the company of devotees is essential, and the uh, 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 not having association of materialistic people is also essential. Associating with materialistic people can completely destroy a person's interest in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, we have to avoid the association of unholy people and accept the association of genuine devotees. So, it says here that one has to be intelligent to understand Krishna. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Well, how does someone become intelligent? We can ask that question. Can you become intelligent by smoking cigarettes or marijuana? No. I was talking to this one person, and I asked him, I said, what do you want to achieve in your life? And he said, I want to be famous, and I want to have money, and I want to have a lot of fame. And in other words, not fame, but a lot of people that are following me. So I asked him, what are you doing to achieve that? He said, well, I'm smoking some marijuana and I'm reading some books. And sometimes I go and hear some lectures. So I told him, you'll never reach your goal. He said, what do you mean I won't reach my goal? I said, that's not the way you can reach your goal. He said, well, I'm doing pretty good. I said, no, it doesn't mean anything. That's not the way to reach your goal, I said, basically. He said, well, what's the way then? I said, unless you have a real relationship with God, you'll never be able to reach your goal. Because our whole purpose in life is to understand our relationship with God and act in that relationship. Then all goals can be achieved in life. So he was a little bit perplexed like that. But there's many statements in the Bhagavad Gita that one can attain perfection in this lifetime by becoming a devotee and by engaging in devotional service. That doesn't stop one from having a career, etc. But simply having a mundane life, engaging in sense gratification, one may have some fame or may have some money, but all those things will be temporary. And at the moment of death, all those things will be lost. And one will realize that he wasted his time engaging in all that mundane activity. That's why it says here, says, he, meaning Krishna, is the prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities. And he alone is maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence. And Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Well, if he's the root of all intelligence, then we should get serious about understanding our relationship with Krishna. And therefore, and it says there, unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And what is the source of intelligence? It's Krishna again. He is in the heart as Paramatma. He is. He can give us knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. And there's two aspects to the forgetfulness. Either he can help us forget Krishna so we can engage in engage in sense gratification. Because in order to engage in illicit activities, you have to forget God. So Krishna helps the living entity forget him. On the other hand, in order to develop Krishna consciousness, again, you need Krishna's help. He can help you in every way to always understand him, engage in his service, etc. So both ways, whether we want to forget Krishna or whether we want to love Krishna, we need Krishna's help. And he's so expert at this, he can help a person completely forget him, completely ignore him for his whole life. So basically, we can't really do anything without Krishna's help. So we should get Krishna's help, not to forget him, but we should pray to Krishna to help us always remember him. And this is basically the desire of a genuine devotee. He's always praying, my dear Lord, please don't let me forget you. Please always give me knowledge and remembrance so that I can always be engaged in your devotional service. And if you want me to forget something, help me to forget all nonsense. Yeah, so that type of forgetfulness is good. Okay. I think that's the end of our lecture today, 7:30. Are there any questions?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I wanted to ask this question that I was under the assumption that once we chant Krishna's holy name and once we have remembered him, then Krishna will protect us from falling down and Krishna will never let his devotees go astray. So of course, being a devotee, I don't think so, at least like we are going to pray to Krishna to forget him. So can you kindly explain a little bit more about this?
No, Krishna will help you forget nonsense.
Got it. Thank you so much.
And then he'll help you to be always engaged in Krishna consciousness. That means that you are being blessed by the Lord. He'll help you forget all nonsense. Lose your attraction to Maya, basically. Now, unfortunately, so many people, once they become, a child, and then a teenager, and then an adult, they become very attracted by not Maya and nonsense things. So to lose that attraction, you have to begin to hear about Krishna and engage in devotional service of Krishna and associate with devotees. Then you can forget about that infatuation for nonsense and replace that with your love and devotion for Krishna. That might be very easy, or it might be very difficult. It's only difficult when we're really involved in sense gratification. But if we're not really so attracted to sense gratification, then we can easily forget all the nonsense that's going on around us and not be attracted by it and be happy that we're Krishna conscious. But if you look at what's happening in the world, it's miserable. So many people are miserable. So many people are confused. So many people are angry. So many people are violent. There's war going on in different places. There's competition everywhere for jobs and in companies and so forth. So when you look at all that, the only, let's say, way to get away from the effects of those negative things is to have the association of genuine devotees and to hear every day Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by genuine devotees. And of course, have prasadam. And of course, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. That will cure the disease of being attracted by material, temporary things. Now, you want to be engaged only in eternal things. So chanting Hare Krishna is an eternal thing, right? Hearing about Krishna is an eternal thing. All these other things, mundane books, movies, and other things like that, they're all temporary. And they're not going to help you at the moment of death. At the moment of death, if you see Yamaraj and say, well, I read this book and I read that book and I did this and I did that, that's not going to work with Yamaraj. He'll say, but you didn't do anything of real importance. You only did things that were temporary, not eternal. Therefore, you haven't learned your lesson yet. So now I'm going to take you and teach you what happens when you avoid the essential things in life. You get punished. And let's hope that you learn your lesson. But there's no guarantee, because you might make the same mistakes again in your next life. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Yeah.
So Maharaj, the last line of the purport says, unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. So my question is, this intelligence is it like a material intelligence? Because sometimes some devotees are very intelligent, they can learn things quickly. Some devotees are not learning that fast, but still they are learning and doing the devotional service.
That's not intelligence.
So what intelligence is?
Intelligence is being attracted to Krishna. When you see the beautiful form of Krishna, when you hear the beautiful pastimes of Krishna, when you smell the incense that's offered to Krishna, all those things, that helps you to give up gross things and be completely satisfied with spiritual things. How many people are really attracted by spiritual things? Not that many. That means that you like to chant Hare Krishna, you like to dance in kirtan, you like to have prasadam, you like to do devotional service, you like to hear lectures, you like to go on, you like to do good to others. That requires initiation. That requires having very good, sangha, very good relationships with devotees. That will keep you inspired to learn more and more about Krishna and to be engaged always, every day in Krishna consciousness. Without the association of devotees, it's very difficult to make tangible spiritual advancement. Very difficult. So just imagine, look at the way most people are living. They work real hard. They come home and they watch television. They eat all kinds of nonsense things, right? They might smoke marijuana or take other drugs. Is that a life? No, that's not a life. That's what you would call destruction. But a life of a devotee is always self-construction. We're always constructing, building our faith and our love for Krishna through devotional service, through association with devotees, through chanting Hare Krishna, through going to Sankirtan. We're constructing our faith and love for Krishna by doing these things. The other people smoking cigarettes, having illicit sex, reading all kinds of junk books, and going to movies, spending 2-3 hours watching a movie and so forth. They're deconstructing. They're destroying their ability to become intelligent. Intelligence, look that word up, intelligence. It means that if you're intelligent, it means you're able to understand what is real and what is false. It's not just understanding what is real. You have to also be able to understand what is real and what is false so that you avoid false things and you engage always in real things. So what is real means things that are eternal. So devotional service to Krishna is eternal. Working in a company is not eternal at all. It's temporary. They're not equal. Okay, what does this say? Intelligence.
The meaning of intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. The ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills.
No, that's not well, I mean, that's one net definition, but that's not the real definition. Real definition is to know your relationship with Krishna. That's intelligence. Because what did that say again?
The ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills.
What kind of knowledge? It doesn't say. No, real intelligence is the ability to understand your relationship with God. That's real knowledge. And then act in that relationship. That's real knowledge. You see how these definitions they're not complete.
So regardless of the IQ of a person,
Yeah.
they all can have this intelligence to
Know Krishna.
know Krishna and the relationship with
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to be a PhD, right? You can be, just an ordinary person who's not very intelligent academically, but they're very intelligent because they've surrendered to Krishna.
Okay.
Haribol. Okay, so are there any questions? Any questions from the outside world? So our takeaway today is it says Krishna is the prime eternal among all eternals. Point one. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities. Point two. He alone is maintaining all life. Point three. One cannot do anything without intelligence. And Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Point four. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Point five. So he's the root of all intelligence. So if you take an interest in Krishna and you try and learn, just like let's say there's a teenager that wants to be an engineer. Okay. So he tries to become, let's say, an electrical engineer or some kind of engineer. So he'll spend years qualifying himself and then working, in that way. Is that going to help him at the moment of death? No, it's not going to help him. Now let's look at something else. Let's say someone is an engineer, but at the same time, he uses his engineering knowledge to help Krishna consciousness. Meaning that his real interest in life is Krishna consciousness. His vocation to make a living is being an engineer, but even being an engineer, he can also help Krishna consciousness. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually the right thing to do. But simply being an engineer and avoiding any connection with Krishna, that's a waste of time. And they're going to take birth again. And who knows what they'll be. So you see, there are two engineers. One who is an engineer but is a devotee and using his expertise also in Krishna's service. And the other is an engineer who's only interested in making money and engaging in sense gratification. So it's not that, oh, you can't be an engineer, that's Maya. No, you can be an engineer and Krishna conscious at the same time. But if you're just an engineer, that's not good at all. You'll be wasting your time. And Prabhupada said, he said that it takes time to learn a skill, like becoming an engineer, right? It takes time. If you can use that skill in Krishna's service, that's the perfection of your life. So I might be an engineer. If I can use my engineering knowledge and skill in building temples, now I'm Krishna conscious. But if I use it only to make money so I can have sense gratification, it's basically a waste of time. So we don't say, oh, you can't be an engineer if you want to be a devotee. Oh, you can be an engineer. But you should learn how to use your skill in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so that is our takeaway today. Our takeaway is, unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So the question is, how do you become intelligent? By associating with intelligent persons. How do you know if someone's an intelligent person? Well, Prabhupada was the most intelligent person. And by associating with Prabhupada, many people became devotees. And you can still associate with Prabhupada because we have his books, we have his films. We have so many, and we have devotees that are associated with Prabhupada. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse. You can say, oh, well, no, I have an excuse. I'm lazy. That's not an excuse. And it's actually a fact. We have more access to Prabhupada now than when he was actually physically present. We have all his books, we have all his recordings, everything. You can be with Prabhupada 24 hours a day. It wasn't like that when he was on the planet. Mm-hmm. So there's no excuse. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Let's do this.